Hey, it's Lindsay, and it's that time of year again where I'm ready to move full on back into a bullet journal. So today I'm going to be setting up a pocket bullet journal or an A6 sized Leuchtturm1917 dot grid notebook. I have a few of these sitting around, and this is one of my favorite notebooks to use. I really like a pocket-sized bullet journal for the portability, and there's something about this 80 GSM 5mm grid cream paper that I love from Leuchtturm. I just know exactly what to expect. My first order of business is removing the bookmarks. This notebook does come with an elastic closure and 2 ribbon bookmarks, but I end up using my tabs instead, so I thread that bookmark back down the spine and give it a good tug to remove both of them. Next order of business is decorating the inside cover of my bullet journal. I'm using some washi tape. This is the Déjà Vu washi from Plus.Minus. I'll have that listed in the description box for you if you're looking for this particular one. But I like to give my bullet journal just a little bit of personality and something to look at when I move in. One of the things I'm trying to adopt moving back into a bullet journal is setting intentions per notebook. And I find giving myself a little bit of deco in the front can kind of set the tone or set the vibe or the personality of my bullet journal. I'm keeping the deco relatively minimal because I like to use my inside cover for sticky notes and use it as an inbox of sorts, but I did want to add a little bit of stamping. These are some Kikuyo stamps, I believe. I'll have them in the description box down below along with the ink that I use. It's a Versamagic chalk ink. But I stamped the year on the left-hand page, and I'm pulling out my Trodat mini dater to add my start date on the right-hand page, and I'll do a to from type of stamp in this front cover. I opted to start my bullet journal on April 10th and save my hand the struggle of backdating. The first spread I'm setting up is a future log, and I thought I'd flip the script here a bit and rotate my notebook horizontally. I'm doing a 6-month future log. This notebook has 187 numbered pages, and at absolute best, I will get 6 months in this notebook, but more likely 3 or 4. I am doing mini calendars for each of the upcoming months. I'm using that same stamp set and same ink to let me know what month I'm looking at, and I will list birthdays, events, and appointments down below for reference when it comes to setting up a month in my bullet journal. Next ever important collection for me is my adulting log, and I will write down the first letter of each of the months. I opted to go for the full year in this at a glance spread because it makes things easier as I transfer from planner to planner or notebook to notebook. But my adulting log is a list of cleaning tasks or non-automated tasks that I need to keep track of, and when I complete that item, such as cleaning something on a monthly basis or paying our vehicle registration, renewing the tags, I will write down the date under the corresponding month that I've completed that task, and it's a really great at a glance reference of things that I need to be on top of throughout a calendar year. I'm considering digitizing this at the end of the year. We'll see. I like to tab my core collections off with these little clips here. This is the Midori index clip in silver. I get mine from JetPens. To make my remaining collections and habit trackers a little bit easier to set up, I opted to print out some habit trackers. These are ones that I frequent from setup to setup, and I'll have the number and the shop in the description box down below for you. But I also had some core infographics that I find online that I like to add to my planner related to Stardew Valley and Pokemon Violet, because I've recently started playing that again. So here is a paper trimming montage using my Fiskars 9-inch trimmer. I can have that down below for you too if you want to check it out. One of the habit trackers I just trimmed out is from Peanuts Planner Co., and this is from her 104 Undated Yearly Bundle, and I use this to track my cycle. I have a different symbol for various symptoms throughout the month, and this is one of those collections I prefer to see a year at a glance, so I will be backfilling some information from the first few months of this year, but instead of putting this tracker and gluing it down, I just used a little bit of washi tape to hold it in place. That way, whatever notebook I go to next, I can just take this little habit tracker with me. The next habit tracker is my workout log. I like to write down the first few letters of the workout that I do for each day, and to make this setup simpler, I'm using insert 111 from Peanuts Planner Co., and I printed that out on sticker paper from Online Labels. I will use this for the next 6 months and number 1 through 31. This tracker, I don't mind seeing sort of split up notebook by notebook, so I didn't bother using the washi tape for this one. My next collection is my reading log, and I keep this pretty simple. It's a 3-column setup, 1 column for the book number or whether or not it's fan fiction, the title and author in the center, and then a rating out of 5 stars. I used to use Goodreads, but for some reason I've really shifted away from it over the last few years. Probably because I read a lot of fan fiction, and this is an easier way for me to collect all the things that I read in one space. I'm also a chronic rereader. I like to go back, revisit fan fictions, especially if they're not complete, and get caught back up again, or if a book made me feel some type of way. I often want to go back and reread it in the future, and I'm always curious if my reading shifts over time. I am always looking for some book recommendations, so if you like fantasy and you have a recommendation, let me know down below. I need to start a books to read list maybe. And the next collection I'm setting up is a combined gift list / wish list spread. And this is sort of an Alistair setup. I do a star for me, B for my husband Brandon, and then a couple other signifiers. And I will list the ideas to the right of those and put a dot under the corresponding section that idea applies to. I've actually really liked combining my wish list log with my gift list. It makes giving people gift ideas much simpler. Another must-have collection for me is a combined spending and package tracker spread. You'll see when I flip through at the end, I actually have a variety of little mini check registers and some other collections that I set up, but the type of tracker was a duplicate, so I thought I would just show you one type of, and then I reapply it several ways. But spending log / package tracker is a really great combo spread for me. I used to have a check register for keeping track of my fun money spend, just so I had an idea of how much money I had in my account, and then I would keep a separate package tracker. And if you combine them, I find I'm a lot more accountable on updating things, because I had a bad habit of just adding things to my package tracking spread, but not necessarily updating the check register. This setup, again, quite simple. I've got a column for a date, a column for the description, money in or money out, my running balance, and then a couple columns on the far right for shipped and received. And I just do an X in each of those columns when I am notified that a package has shipped or when I pick it up when it's been delivered. If a item in my check register doesn't have a package associated with it, I just do a couple dots in each of those columns, and it still works for both types of data. And that brings us to the final flip through of my pocket bullet journal setup. This setup took me a couple of days, and there are some collections that you'll see along with April's setup as I flip through that I did off camera. Just sort of set things up as I needed and tried to put the footage back together in an order that made sense. Logistics wise, this is my main planner and bullet journal for now. We will see where I am next week, stay tuned. And the pens I used for this setup is my Pilot Vanishing Point, an extra fine inked with the Atramentis Archive ink. That fountain pen ink behaves beautifully on this paper, by the way. All the line work was done with a Sakura Pigma Micron in 005. The ruler that I used is by Hobonichi. The tape runner is Tombow mono removable adhesive. I typically pick that up from JetPens. And I think that about covers the basics. I will have all the habit trackers and information for the things I mentioned earlier in the description box down below. If you have made it this long, thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you soon.